And we're back here on another episode of NBA 2K14. In the last episode, as the Oklahoma City Thunder survived the LA Clippers by 5 points, 106 to 101 as Russell Westbrook gets a job with 3 points. Kevin Durant makes his return in the NBA after the first 10 games due to the wrist. And you see here, Kevin Durant didn't shoot the 3, only his 2 3-point made attempt with 2 and 6, but the free throw made attempt is 13-18. For the Clippers, it's 25 points for Jamal Crawford, and Chris Paul's got 8 and 10. One and finish here in Oklahoma City. And coming up next, to we're off to Denver, Colorado, but they check out if in-game news is turned out. Yes, we can. So now we're going off here. We're off to off to Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. We got a 2 interconference battle. It features Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah of the Chicago Bulls take on JaVale McGee and Ty Lawson of the Denver Nuggets. And for this game, the Bulls is going to use the black and the Nuggets going to use the yellow. So that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin. We'll be right back after this. Enjoy the video here at the Pepsi Center in Denver. And now we are setting to Kevin Harlan here at the Pepsi Center in Denver. Anyways, let's get started. Enjoy the video, and now we are setting to Kevin Harlan here in Pepsi Center. Anyways, let's get started. Enjoy the video. Here we go.
Welcome to 2K Sports. We've got NBA basketball for you. I'm Damon Bruce. It's Thursday night basketball. It'll be the Chicago Bulls facing off against the Denver Nuggets. And that's it for us in the studio. To call all the action, let's go out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K Sports crew. I'll see you again at halftime.
The Chicago Bulls are on the road in this interconference game today. We welcome you this Thursday evening. Hoping you're having a good one and are as excited as we are for this one. Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr joining me in the booth. Good evening, everyone. This is Kevin Harlan. The starting fives for our game. Here are tonight's starting lineups. And as we take a look here at Derrick Rose, guys, what's your take?
Well, he's established himself as one of the league's premier clutch performers, with some unbelievable plays down the stretch of tight ball games.
And he also is incredibly adept at running the pick and roll. He almost always makes things happen when he instigates that play.
And Andre Miller out with the injury. Clark, he's going to be missed.
Kevin, you could tell when he went down in the last game that it wasn't good. And that news just confirms our worst fears. He's going to have to watch from the sideline, and I'm not sure how long he's going to be out.
Well, we'll see. As his rehab progresses, we'll get a better idea of that. But it has to be a very emotional time for him right now, Clark. As a player, you grit your teeth when you're getting that kind of a diagnosis, but it's a tough fate to accept.
It's pretty hard not to ask the question after the Nuggets were bounced in the first round of the playoffs if, in fact, they were better constructed for the regular season than the playoffs. Incredible timing. On the alley-oop.
He absolutely hammered it down.
And that's the play we're going to remember when this game is all said and done.
Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
I caught up with Coach Tom Thibodeau. He said that they'd be focusing a lot of their defensive energies on containing Ty Lawson, especially in transition. He added, Lawson is one of the fastest players in the league. So if you let him get out and run, you are putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. We've got to keep him in the half court and limit his penetration. Guys?
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris. Continuing to talk about the Nuggets, it is a fair question to ask because this group, Steve, has been so successful in the regular season, but has yet to make a big splash in the postseason.
Yeah, I think they've advanced out of the first round one time in the last 9 seasons. So, I think it's a fair question, Kevin. I think you can win playing fast, but you have to have balance. Look at the Spurs last year. They played a very high tempo, but they played excellent defense as well. You've got to have some kind of a balance to win in the postseason.
Here is Rose. After the made shot from McGee. Rose passes to Deng. Yes, and it's Rose with the assist that time. Deng's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Rose against Lawson. McGee trying to break free, and that is good.
They're off and running. Good start here. They've knocked down 4 of their first 5. Guys, you know, Ty Lawson last season signing that 4-year, $44 million extension with the Nuggets. Started off the season a bit slow, battled some injury issues, but all in all, another solid season from a young point guard who I think has all-star potential.
Here's Lawson, following the score by Derrick Rose. Feeds it to Gallinari with the shot. Again, the Nuggets score. The Bulls have gotten all 5 of their shots to go down in the first quarter. Terrific start. We were talking about Ty Lawson. So fast, he's tough to stay in front of.
Yeah, great at drawing contact and finishing inside. When he gets ahead of steam, it's impossible to stop him. And he worked hard last year on his left hand. I think that's where he made a lot of improvement.
Another nice bucket down low. They've really been able to work the ball into the post effectively so far.
Yeah, I think that could really set things up well the rest of the game. Pound the ball inside and let your perimeter players play off your bigs.
Taj Gibson's checked in for Carlos Boozer.
Guys, how about the Bulls being able to nab the 5th seed in the East last season, in large part due to how they were able to play on the road? Of course, when you play tough, solid defense like they do, it makes it easier to be competitive and string together road wins.
Now here's Heinrich. Right now averaging 7 points a game. A nice shot by Teague.
Nice pass. He got the ball right into his teammate's shooting pocket. On time and on target.
And Lawson with the drive. He kicks to Fournier. And Kirk Heinrich picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. And for the Bulls, defense is one of the few things in the NBA that can neutralize a home court advantage. And Steve, a big part of why they had the success they had on the road.
Yeah, they went 21-20 away from the United Center.
And this sort of awesome dunk is one of the reasons this team is in charge of this game right now.
Clark, there is a swagger out here on the court that they possess and are not afraid to show it either.
That's right.
Those are phenomenal dunks to watch. So much fun.
Robinson goes in. Oh, and it looks like that's going to be a goaltending call. Yep, that's it. So they'll get the basket.
He thought he had that one clean, but the ref saw it differently. They'll count the basket.
Chicago making a switch here. Murphy's checked in. Out of bounds, Bulls ball as Chicago keeps possession. And now, courtesy of the 2K leaderboard, here are the teams that led the NBA in block shots last year. The Nuggets third.
They've got a number of guys that can deny you when you take that ball inside. That's why they're one of the best shot blocking teams in the league, at least they were last year, because they worked well together and they made it a priority.
That's like a layup for him. He's just wide open out there.
94 is on the way. And that's good. Robinson picking up the assist.
I don't know of too many other players, Kevin, who have his level of concentration offensively. He just seems to have that singular focus you need as a shooter. And even if a defender's all over you, you still just lock in and let it go.
Something else I'd say is that he loves those catch-and-shoot situations, Steve. When he receives a pass in space, it's right away looking to shoot it.
Mike Dunleavy is checked in for the Bulls.
Boy, this game is off to a terrific start.
No doubt. On both sides, high-octane offense.
Heinrich kicks to Murphy. And again, it's the Bulls from deep.
They're getting a bunch of their points outside of the paint. 3 of their last 5 buckets are from three-point range.
But the defense isn't making them earn it. I mean, those shots have just come on easy, open looks. Good. Boy, he's so hard to stop, guys, because he poses a ton of matchup problems for the defense.
1 second separate in the shot clock and game clock. And he was fouled in the act of shooting. Chance here now for a three-point play. That sends Kirk Heinrich to the free throw line. It'll be on Jordan Hamilton. Last outing for the Bulls, it was a loss to the Bobcats.
They found themselves up against a hot team that night, Kevin, and they just didn't have the manpower defensively to shut them down.
You know, guys, I expected a little more fight out of them than what they showed us. They never strung together any stops like they needed to.
And so here's Denver. 7-point differential. Robinson drives in. Smooth as silk on the finger roll. Robinson's got 6.
Little touch of class there, guys. The end of that play with the finger roll.
And they're scoring pretty well as we conclude the first quarter. Bulls lead by 8. Let's take a quick break now, and then it's on to the second quarter after this.
Tune in Wednesday, November 27th. The Atlanta Hawks take on the Houston Rockets. Hoops action.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment.
Well, I tell you what, the Nuggets turned that Pepsi Center into their own personal fortress last season. Had the best record at home in the league. Nobody could run with them when the game was played at the Pepsi Center.
On the court right now, second quarter for the Bulls. Up front, Boozer and Noah. D. Rose and Jimmy Butler, the backcourt. And it's Dunleavy in at the 3 slot. Boozer against Dixon. And there's the feed to Rose. Good on the three-point shot. Rose has got the first points up on the board here in the second quarter for the Bulls. In that home record of the Nuggets you mentioned, Clark, 38-3. Been a long time since someone has been able to put up a home record like that. So pretty impressive.
Well, it's always been difficult for teams to go to Denver and play at high altitude. And then you factor in all the back-to-backs and the fact that the airport is a long way from Denver. They're in a different time zone than a lot of teams in the West. So throw all that stuff together, and it's tough to roll in there, arrive 3 or 4 in the morning, and try to win the next night. Denver really taking advantage of their geographical area.
A chance here to catch up with the 4th member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Guys, JaVale McGee, so much promise there. Teammate Andre Miller said, quote, he's starting to play the way we need him to. There's less of those scratch-your-head moments and more of those, now that's what I'm talking about moments. He can be a dominant player if given the chance. I think he's headed in a good direction. Guys, the talent is there.
And with his length and athleticism, he has all the tools. Doris, thank you.
Jimmy Butler was the last pick of the first round back in 2011 by the Bulls. And last season, I tell you what, he really solidified his place in the rotation. He's still developing his outside shot, and he brings an awful lot to life to the table.
Outside Rose, tries it from 9. And there's Joakim Noah on the assist by Rose. And that's now 7 points for Joakim Noah. And for Jimmy Butler, what a story. Abandoned as a child, bounced around from home to home. One coach would take him in, another family would take him in. It was a very tough upbringing down in the Houston area. He overcame tremendous odds. And to be where he is today with the great attitude after a short time at Marquette, it speaks volumes of his character.
Well, it sure shows in his play, doesn't it? I mean, just the way he hustles and draws fouls, rebounds, defends. He can guard multiple positions out there. You just love his overall game and his toughness and what he brings to this team.
And there's the basket. Whistle blows and a chance for a three-point play. Going to the line for 1.
How about that play? Great body control. Still manages to finish the play despite the contact.
You know, when that whistle blows, you're not done. Get greedy and find a way to knock it down.
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Luol Deng is checked in for Dunleavy. Marcus Teague has come in for Jimmy Butler. And it's Heinrich in for Derrick Rose. Wilson Chandler's checked in for J.J. Hickson. Now the pass to Fournier. Sinks the triple. Fournier's got his 3rd basket of the night right there.
Tell you what, it's hard to argue with the record from Coach Tom Thibodeau of the Bulls, but the rumor mill has it that the front office hasn't been happy with how hard he's ridden his top players. Luol Deng missed time last season with the hamstring injury. Joakim Noah came down with plantar fasciitis. Hey, those things happen, and I'm not quite sure you can put that at the feet of Tom Thibodeau.
I like that they're taking it inside and taking advantage of each opportunity, Clark, to chip away. At the deficit.
Yeah, and doing it with the dunk is a major energizer, too. Gets the momentum going.
Yeah, and I think the interior defense, as good a job offensively as we saw. The defensive presence was almost non-existent. Well, they may see this lead disappear if they continue to give up those easy points.
And a little under 3.5 minutes elapsed in this second quarter of play. And going back to Tom Thibodeau and that minutes load on his stars, it seems it's getting harder for players to weather big minute speed these days.
I think it's going to be really interesting going forward to see this Bulls team this year and beyond. Will that wear them down? Their guys played too many minutes. They've had a lot of injuries. I think it's time to scale back a little bit on the minutes played.
Lawson's against Heinrich. 6 to shoot. Kicks to Boozer. Chandler on him. And that one's good. Boozer. And the Bulls lead by 15. Looking at Denver, they got their last win against Oklahoma City.
And you know what was most impressive? They wasted very few possessions in that game. They ran their offense close to perfection.
That's what we call the mute button game in front of a hostile crowd. They never let the fans get into it. Had them on their hands the whole time.
Heinrich dishes to T. He feeds it to Noah. McGee's there. Noah kicks to T. Good ball movement here by the Bulls. Passes it to Boozer. He's guarded by Chandler. Carlos Boozer again. Boozer's got 4 points now in the quarter.
Those defenders look like they're out of gas. I mean, they're getting pushed around on the low block.
Well, their energy is lacking. They've got to start playing harder and battle down in the paint. I'm not sure what he was thinking about there. That's a strange foul.
Who knows? Maybe he just wanted to take a break for a minute.
Robinson goes in, and it's blocked by Deng. Here's Heinrich. He has 7. T kicks to Heinrich. Now the dish to Deng. Shot on the wing. It's Chicago with another bucket. And so a pretty lopsided game through the first half. Bulls out front, leading by 17. And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
You've got it on 2K Sports. Let's look at what went on in the first half. The Bulls scorching hot in the first half. They're off to a hot start this season. They'd like to continue that hot streak in this game. Jimmy Butler certainly contributing with his play. He's up to 9 points. As you might expect, he's been a huge factor from outside. On the other side, the Nuggets, they've not had a great start. They're losing the battle on the boards. It starts with wanting to rebound. That's been a problem. Ty Lawson has stood out in the early going. He's got 5 points, and as usual, he's been handing out a lot of assists. And let's check out what happened in the other game. It was the Thunder taking the win in Oklahoma City over the Clippers. They're 2 for their last 5 games now. They'd like to ride a little momentum. The bulk of the scoring came from Russell Westbrook. That will be all for us. Thanks for stopping in. We'll see you next time.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters.
Denver needs to do a better job guarding against Butler.
He has 9 points, and when it comes to rebounding, he's had a nice night there, too.
Yeah, he's really been mixing it up in the middle, getting in there and doing a lot of the dirty work for him.
Lawson and Fournier man the backcourt. JaVale McGee is out there with Hickson, and it's Gallinari in at the small forward. That's the group on the floor for Denver. And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Well, gentlemen, there has been a lot of pressure on this Bulls team to get to the finals. Derrick Rose thinks that they are set up to win multiple championships. He says, quote, "To me, to win a championship, you need a team full of winners that's willing to sacrifice. We've got all the pieces, starting with the front office, our owners, the coaching staff, down to the players." That kind of quote puts more pressure on the team, but they are set to make a deep run, guys.
Defense really their identity. That's how they win. The shot's good from Fournier.
You know, if you were only looking at the way he's played offensively, you'd think his team would be ahead.
Well, we've got a moment to look back at last year's Bulls. 8th in rebounding, 8th in assists. And they were top 10 in free throw percentage. That's always helpful in winning games.
And what stands out to me, Clark, with what you just talked about is the rebounds, because this is a very physical team. They like to try to bully their opponent at both ends of the floor. Defensive glass, they were excellent, and then offensively on their shots, they really got after it and tried to get second chance points.
Boy, I tell you, the Bulls showed how resilient they could be without Derrick Rose last season. They played competitive basketball, but up against the Western Conference, they just didn't quite have the same punch. Got beat up pretty good out west.
And back to the Bulls against the West. Not sure what exactly their shortcomings were, but in the end, Steve, they were only able to win 11 games out of the 30 they played out of conference.
You know, the Bulls were a team that could win games on grit and toughness, but the West was a lot more talented last year than the East. And so some nights Chicago just kind of ran into reality, and they didn't have enough talent to deal with some of those Western teams.
Rose kicks it to Noah. Solid play in the low block, and that one's good. Noah's got 4 this quarter.
That would be 4 in a row for them now as they have come racing out of the gate to start this second half. You know, guys, when Noah came out of Florida, most people viewed him as just an energy guy or a role player, but I tell you what, I always saw him as a highly skilled player. He's shown that he can anchor a defense, and he contributes double-doubles on a nightly basis.
Here's Rose. And it's good. Fought through contact. It's the shot. He'll go to the free throw line.
He's very savvy in traffic. When he gets inside, has a kind of an uncanny way of shielding himself from contact and finding a way to finish at the rim.
And you know what else, Steve? Watching him run the pick and roll is like watching poetry in motion. I mean, this guy has that basic play down pat. He's unstoppable when he runs.
The Bulls making a switch here. Murphy's checked in. You know, for Noah Clark, as you were talking, not just an energy guy, but Steve, he's a good ball handler. And he's a really good passer, for one thing. You know, atop the circle, he's got a great view of the floor, and he really can find the guy.
Yeah, well, it's so important these days to be able to make plays off of screen and rolls for a big guy to be able to catch at the foul line off that drop pass and then either score or find another shooter on the perimeter. Noah is as good as anybody at that.
And it's blocked by Murphy. Rose passes to Butler. Gallinari with the steal. Now, here is Ford. He's covered closely, and that one's good. Here is Rose. He's got 15. Outside Butler. From deep. It's good. This time the assist from Rose. Rose has got 6 assists in the game.
Boy, his performance from long range has been incredible.
I know that was your shot, Steve, and today it's his too.
And it's out of bounds to the Nuggets as Denver retains possession.
Now, that pass had just a little bit too much heat on it for him to make a clean steal.
Yeah, I think it would have been a tough catch for either of them.
Catching up on the changes for Chicago. Ozzie Muhammad's checked in for Noah. Marcus Teague has come in for Jimmy Butler. And it's Heinrich in for Derrick Rose. Heinrich, covered by Foy. They blow the whistle just as he gets it off. That's 2 points with a chance for another one at the stripe.
They've done a lot of good work with the ball. Really moving both the ball and moving bodies, getting quality chances at the hoop.
And they're not wasting chances when they get them. I mean, they're hitting their shots.
Here's what Denver's going with right now. Alinari comes in for Jordan Hamilton. And it's Lawson in for Randy Ford. Teague. And we're going to have a jump ball. It's tied up there. And it's the Nuggets with the ball. Arthur dishes to Lawson. Pass to Fournier. And the three ball is good. Fournier's got 7 points for the quarter.
He had one in the first as well. He can be dangerous. Keep an eye on it.
Pass to Teague. Tipped away. Here's Gallinari. The shot is off. Nice D from Kirk Heinrich. The Bulls leading by 20. A nice shot by Teague. Teague's got 8.
And I like that move to the hoop. You use your speed, go around the bigger defender.
Lawson with it. Now guarded by Muhammad. And Gallinari kicks to Arthur. And Lawson, here we go. And it's good. Lawson's got his 3rd bucket of the night.
One of the reasons they're behind is because we haven't seen enough of that. He needs to become a bigger part of the offense.
Teague for 3. And the Bulls, another 3.
Boy, he made a nice little bounce pass there. We call that the pocket pass, and he did it well.
Lawson against Heinrich. Lawson gets the screen from Fournier. Lawson right side, and Kirk Heinrich picks up the foul. That's foul number 2 for him.
I like the call. I thought the defense was moving there.
Yeah, I think he slid underneath. Good blocking call that trip.
Here's Muhammad. And the release was before the buzzer, but it's off target. The 3 quarters of play all in the books, and this one all but over already. It's the Bulls running away with it. And we're coming right back after this break to get the 4th quarter underway.
Tune in next Wednesday, November 27th. Tim Duncan and the San Antonio Spurs go up against Russell Westbrook and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Live from Oklahoma City. Do not miss it.
And we're getting underway here in the 4th quarter. The scoreboard tells the story in this matchup, but we'll see how much things change up here. And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown so far for the Bulls.
Well, the great passing we saw in the first half is carried right over into the second.
Something we've also seen them doing tonight is getting the long ball to go down. Big points from outside.
On the court for the Bulls, getting this 4th quarter started. Heinrich and Rose, the guards. Inside, Gibson and Noah. And it's Butler in at the small forward position. Luol Deng is checked in for Chicago.
You know, after that first-round playoff loss, the question for the Nuggets is, where do they go from here? I mean, they seem to have put together a season where they did everything they could, but at the end of the day, they came up short because they didn't really execute in the half court.
Here's Rose, and it's rejected. Outside, Robinson gives him the lead pass. The finger roll finish at the bucket.
I don't know who was supposed to be on him there, but clearly a mistake by the defense.
And getting back to the Nuggets, injuries certainly played a part in their premature end of the season. But they do have to ask some major questions, Steve, going forward as to where they're going to look for crunch time points and plays.
Well, this is a team that's built to win a lot of games in the regular season, but you don't know how impactful they can be in a 7-game playoff series because of their lack of a star. I think Ty Lawson is probably best suited to kind of play a Tony Parker-type role where he can dominate games, but this is a club that has some interesting choices to make personnel-wise here over the next couple of years.
Butler kicks it to Noah. Fades. Gets the bucket.
Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
Yeah, that's 5 of their last 6 baskets inside the lane. They have really established themselves inside.
Denver calls timeout and going against Chicago, their first meeting of the season.
They got the better of this club both times they saw them last season. I think we're about to find out if they've still got their number.
About a minute and a half into the fourth quarter now. And it's McGee slamming it down. It's not possible what we just said. Clark, is that...
Not probable, but it is possible, partner.
It's possible. Not probable. It is possible. I don't know what all that meant, but you're right, Clark.
Steve hit on this moments ago, Clark, and when you've got the two top teams, one from the East and one from the West, would you say there are some conference bragging rights at stake here? I mean, it would seem very obvious to me.
For sure, Kevin. Games like this can be a pretty good early season indicator of which conference is the stronger one.
And Noah backs down, back to Heinrich, makes it off the glass.
It's the 10th straight point they've given up in the paint. I guess the good news is they've taken away the outside shot.
Well, you know what? It doesn't matter how good their perimeter defense is if they're going to allow inside looks as easy as that.
McGee, the pass to Lawson. From the arc, and the shot is good. That gives him a double-double in this one. 10 points and 11 assists. Here's Heinrich. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that.
You know, it seems like when they've gone to him, he's really come through. And that's not something they should get away from.
Dishes it to Hickson. And there's a foul. It goes on Jimmy Butler. That's his first foul. So for the Bulls, Boozer comes in for Taj Gibson. And Derrick Rose is subbed in for Kirk Heinrich. Molinari dishes to McGee. Butler with the block. Outside Rose. We're in the final quarter of play here. 3 minutes in. Got it. Good job in the low post.
What an excellent performance from the field for him.
Shot's good.
I like the fact that he led his teammate right to the ideal spot. You don't always throw it to your teammate. You throw it to where he needs to be.
He dishes it to Butler. Feeds it to Noah. And that one's good. Noah's got 10 points here in the second half.
Nicely done. They just continue to dominate inside. That's 10 points. In a row in the lane.
It's now purely here it comes. See if you can stop it. Without question, last season was the best of J.J. Hickson's career. A new field goal high in terms of percentage, and his rebound rate went off the charts. Played his way into a nice contract, too.
And looking back for J.J. Hickson, this is a player who was waived back in 2012 by the Kings.
Yeah, he's bounced around a little bit, but I thought had an excellent season in Portland last year and solidified his position in this league. He's an active, energetic big man.
From deep, Rose. Good, and Heinrich gets the assist. And that's now 25 points for Derrick Rose. Robinson kicks to Hamilton. Back to Robinson.
That's his fourth foul. I'm sure he recognizes the situation because number 5 would put him in a rough, tough spot.
That's kind of his strong suit, the ability to find his way through the defense and finish at the rim.
Terrell Arthur is checked in for J.J. Hickson.
Well, Robinson is a constant threat to heat up in a hurry, Kevin. He's one of those guys who has unlimited confidence even when it's not quite warranted. He just gets out there and he thinks he's going to make every shot, and he races around the floor and creates havoc. Great guy to have coming off your bench.
He's ideal to have coming off your bench. Instant energy. He'll do anything he needs to do to win, to help you win. Nate's competitive, and he's a terrific athlete. If he's not contributing with points, he'll be contributing with cheering. You got to love that about him. That enthusiasm is contagious.
Rose passes to Heinrich. Buries the long-range jumper.
Well, the fans already heading for the exits, clearly not pleased with the way their home team played here today.
And they shouldn't be pleased. I mean, it's a very well-deserved win, Steve. They came into this building and weren't intimidated at all. They were the aggressors.
He kicks to Rose. And again, it's the Bulls from deep.
Well, if it wasn't already out of reach, it is now thanks to this spurt.
Just keep on firing, man. No reason to slow down now.
Well, their offense has kicked into gear, but seems to have arrived a little bit too late.
And as a coach, that can really be frustrating. I mean, your guys were stumbling along for most of the game, and now, when it's basically over, they finally decide to come alive.
Well, it's a wrap, fellas. No way you come back in this one.
Not anymore. Any chance of that happening went out the window a while ago.
Ford. Good, and the assist goes to Robinson. Here comes Nazir Muhammad. Outside Rose. Lets it go from the wing. Again, Chicago.
Rose can really turn it on at times.
And so Chicago takes this one by a big margin. You know, Clark, every team has a bad night. These guys might want to watch the tape of this game the next time they have a bad night to remind themselves how dominant they can be.
Well, this is one of those dream-like games for a coach.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And now we present the Jordan Player of the Game, Derrick Rose.
So when that's not a close game, so it looks like that will be dominate, winning by 22, 111-89. Chicago Bulls getting dominated to stop the Denver Nuggets win streak. Jeff Davis got healed now, Delfino is blue, Udud, and Tayshaun Prince still able to play. Will be still having healed for strained MCL, Jenkins, Dellenberg, Kenneth Farid is no longer in Lowry Ray, Quincy Miller, Cerny, DJ Augustine, Perry Jones, and Harrington and Norman Vinsley. So that will be everyone is getting killed. So let's check out the view box score here. That's a huge dominate for Chicago. 22-point margin. JaVale McGee got 15. Evan Fournier got 14. Derrick Rose got 23. And Kirk Hinrich got 21. So that means the Chicago Bulls will stop the Nuggets. How many Nuggets winning streak are? And they failed to start off in the first 4 games. They snapped a 4-game win streak. Since after that he was Ty Lawson hit the game-winning shot against the Timberwolves are down to the wire in last Thursday. And now they snap a 4-game win streak against the Chicago Bulls are now on a roll here in Denver. Here's the next game for the next schedule on November 22 for ESPN Friday. Skipping all the way to the main game here, all the way here is the first matchup. Suns, Bobcats, Bucks, 76ers, Wizards, Raptors, and our main game, the first matchup features Tim Duncan and Tony Parker of the San Antonio Spurs take on Mike Conley and Marc Gasol of the Memphis Grizzlies, as Manu Ginobili would not play again because of finger injury. Nets take on the Timberwolves, Cavaliers take on the Pelicans, Bulls take on the Blazers. It's gonna be good. Pacers face the Celtics, Hawks face the Pistons, Jazz face the Mavericks, and the second of the ESPN Friday we're off to Staples Center for the Warriors and the Lakers. So let's skip the first matchup here, Suns and the Bobcats. We got Suns hold on by 2-point victory. Kemba Walker got 26, Jerome Green got 25 points, 10 rebounds, Caron Butler got 24, and Dragic got 15 and 13. Bucks and the Sixers getting upset by the Bucks. So Jason Richardson's got 44 points and OJ Mayo got 29. That's the second huge upset victory for the Sixers. It was the first victory starting the undefeated Spurs, and now the second win was knock off the Bucks. Wizards and the Raptors. It's Wizards win by 8. 24 points for DeMar DeRozan and Nene got 22. And now we'll be wrap up here. We're off the next game in our hands. We're off to Memphis, Tennessee in Memphis. So we got the two of the Phoenix, two of the Southwest rivalry. We meet again. It's just a rematch of the last season's Western Conference Finals once again. Check out the last two matchups here in the last video. Spurs beat the Grizzlies by 12 points. And then after this, the second matchup we're off to go off the Staples Center. Steve Curry got 35 points at the time. And a huge win for the Warriors.
That's what I do every day.
So check out right there for the next TNT games. Check out for the next TNT games right here. Check out some December 4. Skip it December 4. Skip it all the way next December 5. Here's the next upload for the next schedule. Here's the next schedule for the next Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. For the next some Monday, we're going to doubleheader for you off the Oklahoma City, and you're heading to Cleveland. And then there's no games because of Thanksgiving weekend, November 28th. And then November 29th, they have a next matchup for you. We're off to go heads to Oklahoma and Pepsi Center. And then the next game, skip to December 4, that's not the ESPN Wednesday nights, except for the Thunder Blazers and Spurs Timberwolves. On December 5, on the Wednesday, Knicks face the Nets and the Heat face the Bulls. Friday, they have ESPN Friday here with the Pitchers, Cavaliers. There's no ESPN, they only have one game at a time. Thursday with the Nuggets, Celtics. Friday, we go off and skip to the Heat and Pacers game because it's a good matchup. Except a flex game so far. And the Thursday games, it's gonna be quick, careful. It's gonna be matchups. Friday, Saturday. That will be the next game. So, as it's now time to finish that, will be safe house. And that'll do it. And boom. And that'll do it for now. This is Andre Kenshin as the scene to wrap up for day 7 of the NBA playoffs as the Magic, Bucks, and the Timberwolves have won the game number 3. So the next game in our hand will start on another doubleheader for you. We're up to Phoenix Forum in Memphis. We got a good Southwest rivalry meet again. It features Tim Duncan and Tony Parker of the San Antonio Spurs take on Marc Gasol and Mike Conley of the Memphis Grizzlies. Then followed by the second game, we're off back to Staples Center in LA. Features Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors take on Kobe Bryant and Pau Gasol of the Los Angeles Lakers. As that'll do it for now, this is Andre Kenshin as the Chicago Bulls dominate the Denver Nuggets 111-89. I'm Andre Kenshin. Say so long for Pepsi Center in Denver. We'll see you tomorrow here in Phoenix Forum in Staples Center for the first game between the Spurs and the Grizzlies, and the second game, it was the Warriors and the Lakers. This is Andre Kenshin. Say so long for, once again, say so long for Pepsi Center in Denver. It's time to say sign up and peace out. Good night, and reminder, we will see you tomorrow for another doubleheader. We're off to Phoenix Forum in Staples Center for the matchup between the Spurs and the Grizzlies, then the Warriors and the Lakers. Sign up and peace out. Good night.